The other types of moves that, besides group moves, that we actually do need to talk about are switches. So there are leg switches, there are grip switches, we change hand positions, and there are torso switches. So torso switches, grip switches, and leg switches do not change groups. So if I'm upside down and I'm in an Aisha, right here, this is my Aisha, and I'm going to grip switch. I'm not changing groups, right? I'm here, here. Most likely I'm not going to have my legs on the pole and I might be in a neutral move anyway. Now in a torso switch, most common or the easiest one is they would climb up, climb, and I'm on one side of the pole, that's my torso, and then I change sides to the other side of the pole. I don't change groups at all. Now I can do that upright in a group A, or I can do that in an outside leg hang and I can switch, or inside leg hang, switch the torso around and be on the other side of the pole. Sometimes what it does is change the side of the moves to more dominant or non-dominant. So it can be fun to throw in a switch in a group B set of moves and switch the set into a now non-dominant sequence. So torso switches, leg switches, most common ends up being your outside leg hang to a inside leg hang. That's the most common. So that would be a leg switch. Where it becomes group switch, remember, it's when both legs come off of the pole, not just one. So both legs would have to come off the pole. Or they would be on one side of the pole or to the other, right? One side of the pole or the other. So we have, for review, we have group A moves or supine moves, which means we unwind our body, we are belly up. We have group B moves. We unwind our body, we're body down, belly down. Those are prone. Then we have our neutral moves, which are legs on the same sides of the pole as one another, or they're totally removed from the pole. And then when switches are involved, that's torso switches, grip switches, and leg switches, okay? So all moves fall into those. And you're welcome to look around and see if you can figure out something that does not fit into any of these groups. One combination, I'm going to tell you a few different combinations that you can use with your students, and I recorded these and I will just tell you what they are and then you can watch them because the sound didn't work with the recording. So a very nice, easy one is a jasmine, butterfly, flatline, and I could do a torso switch to the other side of the body, so then it would be jasmine, butterfly, flatline on the other side. That's a 7 series move. The neat thing also, and this is most often, so that's a group B 7 move series. So most often you can also go backwards through your sets of moves. So you can do jasmine, butterfly, flatline, or you can do flatline, butterfly, jasmine. That's group B. If we look at group A, we can do lay back, brass monkey, come down, go back, brass monkey, or inverted figurehead type move, sit up, and you're in your thigh hold, okay? You can also, so that's group A. When it comes to neutral, most often some of the things we're looking at are more of a Spider-Man type of a move or a tuck type of a move. Most often neutral moves are done in transitions, but they definitely do not have to be. They can be a full set of moves in and of themselves, which is really fun. And when you explain to your classes that you're going to do group A moves, group B moves, or neutral moves, and they get an idea of what it is they're doing, they're able to put kind of more theory or words behind just the sets of moves, and they're able to understand it more from an intellectual perspective as well. So that's where it's also exciting. One of the other things to think about is that your students are also able to, because we'll look at moves as far as groups, or sometimes we'll call them progressions. So knee hooks. A knee hook set, the set of knee hooks, range from jasmines to kneeling on the pole, cupids. A butterfly is actually a knee hook and an inverted full bracket. It is, it's both. But the fun thing with that is they all require very similar ways of holding on to a pole, similar types of physics in a way. So once you get used to explaining one, we add a variation or something that's more challenging. It's similar types of motor control that's needed to do one move from the next. So that makes sense for your students. So once again, Group A, Group B, and neutral moves. Switches are torso switches, leg switches, and grip switches, and then we also do have our group switches, but those are really our neutral moves. Hopefully this makes sense to you and you're able to look at a series of moves or a set of moves and choose what are Group A and what are Group B, and what are neutral moves. Also, as you start looking at different videos online, hopefully you'll be able to see what is happening. One thing that I would request you do, if you haven't already, is check out the progression series, and that's one that Pole Moves put out. So the progression series by Pole Moves has the moves we're talking about, but has put them into a series of progressions. So it goes from least difficult to most difficult. And you'll see the knee hooks, how they're in one set. You'll see the leg hangs. And so that will help you also look at some of the other moves and be able to say, okay, what progression series does this move belong to? Because mostly they're just a variation in some way or some form or another. All moves are just a variation of these very simple, basic moves. I hope you've enjoyed this. I think it's very fun to be able to organize pole moves in a way that makes sense and hopefully makes it easy for you to teach. And I look forward to meeting you in person someday.